I'm here with Ryan Quinn, the political director of Swing Left. Hi, Ryan.
Hi,
Thanks for doing this with me.
thank you for having us. Yeah, we're really excited to talk about the election this year.
Yeah, I don't know. This year has been really crazy already, and this voting year has been taking a wild shape already. And now we are in the middle of a pandemic, and it's just kind of crazy. It's off the charts. First off, I guess I want to ask, what is it that Swing Left does, and how are y'all like adapting to the times right now?
Yeah, it is a crazy time. And you know, Swing Left is a grassroots organization that supports Democratic candidates up and down the ballot. In 2018, you know, we supported over 80 congressional races, raised over $11 million, and knocked over 5 million doors in support of those Democratic candidates and winning back the House. We know that this year looks a lot different than that for a lot of different reasons. Our map is different. We're centered on the presidential election, the US Senate, and key state legislatures across the country, but also our program that is centered around recruiting, training, and mobilizing volunteers looks a lot different as well because of you know, the pandemic that has upended all of our lives. You know, that means that we're relying on virtual actions that we can push our volunteer community to, and that includes phone banking, text banking, and letter writing as well. And we know this election and you know this moment right now are far too important for us to stand by and take this election cycle off. And you know, I guess the silver lining about all of this is because you know we're all virtual right now. It means that wherever you are across the country, whether you live in a swing state or not, you can sign up to contact voters in the most critical elections across the country.
Great. I live in North Carolina. It's a pretty important state in terms of deciding the outcome of this election. But what about my friends who live in places elsewhere? What can they do to get involved?
Yeah, so North Carolina is one of Swing Left's 12 super states. This year, we're focused on those 12 states because they have overlapping priorities at the presidential, Senate, or state legislative levels, where we know we can help turn out voters for key races up and down the ballot. You know, North Carolina in particular, it's a special state because we can also affect that competitive governor's race this year. And so we're focused on those 12 states because it can actually affect the lives of Americans across the country. You know, even the local state legislative races in a state like North Carolina, they have a national impact because, you know, we know those local officials draw the state's congressional districts, and those representatives will create national policy that affects every American. So whether you live in North Carolina like you or a state like New York like I do, you know, these races impact all of our lives, and Swing Left wants to bring people those virtual actions that I mentioned earlier that can help all of us have impact over those races.
So Ryan, why is flipping the Senate so important, and why does it matter in the big picture?
Yeah, so flipping the Senate this year is, you know, essential to accomplishing the necessary reforms that we need, not only to roll back the damage of the last 4 years, but also to advance a new, you know, positive, progressive vision for this country's future. And you know, I think we could look at any current issue at the federal level, whether it's healthcare, racial justice, immigration reform, protecting LGBTQ rights, the federal judiciary. There are so many of them. But without winning a Senate majority in 2020, it will be impossible for us to really make progress on any of those issues, even if we do win back the White House. Taking back the House in 2018 was such a big deal for us because it meant that we were able to stop the Trump agenda and, you know, hold the administration accountable. But in order to institute that positive change that we need to flip the other chamber of Congress as well.
And how does electoral politics play into the broader fight for racial justice?
So we know that electoral politics is a necessary part of that fight, and we know that, you know, for real change to be effected in the fight for racial justice, it takes more than that. It takes more than just electing Democrats. You know, it's about achieving broader cultural change. It's about social reform in the way this country values Black lives. It takes year-round organizing and supporting the Black and Brown-led organizations who have been doing, you know, this work on racial justice for years now. It takes showing up at protests, you know, signing petitions, engaging on these issues with one's friends and family, and educating oneself on, you know, the history of race in this country and sharing that with people in their circles. But in order to achieve something lasting and to change the laws that have upheld the, you know, America's racially inequitable system for centuries now, we need to elect majorities in Congress and state legislatures that are willing to listen and to take action to right those wrongs.
Thank you for going into all of that. I really appreciate it. How can we all do our part to be more active at home, and how's the best way to get involved right now?
So you can head on over to swingleft.org to sign up to volunteer through our Take Action tool. If you enter your zip code there, it'll tell you some actions that you can take to help elect Democrats at every level of the ballot. And you can start to find ways to write letters through our affiliate Vote Forward, to join a volunteer group, to get more information on those actions. And if you can, to donate to an important race at any level of the ballot. So just head on over to swingleft.org and we'll see you there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for all your help and all your insight. Yeah, thanks so much, Ryan. I really appreciate it.